Chris here, and welcome back to Adaptation Theory, where we look at movie adaptations and I fill in the gaps with the source material. Today, we're going to be looking at Ben Stiller's adaptation of James Thurber's short story, The Secret Life of Walter Mitty. The Secret Life of Walter Mitty is a really short read. It's roughly 6 minutes, and it was written in 1939. This gives the film a large room for interpretation, which I think is a really good thing. Both mediums have their central character, Walter Mitty, living a mundane life, and he excessively daydreams to live better moments of it. The main difference between both stories is the way in which they daydream. Thurber's story has Walter going into deep daydreams where he takes ordinary events like driving a car and turns it into him becoming a commander of a seaplane that needs to break through ice. Stiller has Walter rewrite missed opportunities and makes them a better version of what actually happened.
Let's have this. I'll put it away.
Give me that toy, man.
No!
Now.
Hey!
This is a place of business, not a place of jelly man toys.
Get off it!
No, I'm taking it.
You can't just take my stuff!
It's mine. Give it to me.
No!
You the Tin Man? You little oil can? Jesus.
Both men are living their lives fully in their minds to escape what they can't change, whether it be a nagging wife in the story or an extremely ordinary life in the film. The love interest in both stories really shape the way that Walter behaves within his daydreams.
Thank you for such a wonderful life. Just nestle in here and die. Goodbye, Walter.
Goodbye, Walter. 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 Bye.
Oh, sorry. I was just...
Where do you go?
Thurber creates Mrs. Mitty, a controlling wife that reminds Walter that he isn't young anymore, yet she treats him like a child.
Well, you were up to 35. You know, I don't like to go over 30, and you were up to 35. Walter, you're always doing something else and having your mind on something else.
Telling him at one point that she was going to check his temperature as soon as they got home. Comments like these often lead him to daydream. In Walter's daydream, he is the hero. He's the one that ultimately saves the day, which is a big departure from his typical meek personality.
That will hold for 10 minutes. Astounding.
He's not only the greatest surgeon in the world, he's also a mechanical genius.
In his dream, Walter can be a surgeon that saves a patient from some crazy illness. Since Walter isn't any of the things that he typically daydreams about, he often makes up words to move the story along and make it more believable for himself. Like having to save someone from obstetriosis of the ductal tract. Obstetriosis isn't a word. You can quickly see in Thurber's story that Walter isn't happy with his marriage and he uses daydreaming as a form of escapism. This is where life imitates art. Thurber was married to a woman with a very dominant personality, and he had an eccentric mother. So he used both of these women as inspiration for a lot of his female characters during his writing career.
Sorry. I'm gonna call you later.
The ice, Jace. She moves like a woman. I'm Walter. Mitty.
Cheryl. Melhoff.
Where have you been?
Cheryl in Stiller's story has Walter daydreaming a better version of himself so that she can see him as a potential love interest. Walter even includes Cheryl in his daydreams and uses her as a tool to gain courage that leads him to become the man that he dreamed he could be. Cheryl is a source of encouragement in his real life, and she accepts that he's a daydreamer, unlike Ted.
Ground control to Major Tom. Can you hear me, Major Tom? Oh. Wow.
Moving on, as they say. Conference room, more of these stations here where people sort of do their thing.
I think that Cheryl also has an active imagination because she takes a mystery writing class, which would also explain why she's more accepting of his behavior.
I take this class, writing the mystery novel. Anyway, they say the key is to work backwards. You connect the clues and then scatter them so they seem unrelated. There's like a whole science to it. May I?
Sure.
Okay.
-25 is the catalyst in the film that pushes Walter to ask Cheryl for help. I actually enjoy the relationship that Walter and Cheryl have because they are both living out their fantasies. Walter is finally able to travel the world, leaving his worries behind and trying to save the day, while Cheryl plays detective and helps Walter solve the mystery of the missing negative. Though they are apart, they have a connection with one another and they open up about the things that they're going through. Thurber and Stiller's version of Walter both have him sharing the same characteristics of being a daydreamer and have him face some kind of belittling with his masculinity. Both versions of Walter prefer not to engage in confrontations, which causes them to escape into their own world where they are the heroes. They also have created such elaborate dreams that they tend to zone out when they get bored, even if they are in the middle of a conversation with someone and important information is being given to them, like Mrs. Mitty telling Walter not to forget puppy biscuits, and in the film, Walter's mother telling him that Sean came to visit her at her apartment.
Mom, why didn't you tell me?
I told you. I told you in the produce aisle. I remember that. Oh, maybe you were. Oh, Jessica, what is it you call it when he goes into one of his little places?
Oh, zoned out.
You do that now and then.
Todd, the best customer service rep I've ever seen, lets it slip out that he thinks that daydreamers are typically less content in their life.
Hello?
Hey, what's up?
Todd? From eHarmony?
Yeah, what's up, man?
Not much. How have you been?
Good. It's early here. I just got up, man. I was thinking about you.
Where are you?
Los Angeles. Hey, so your profile still hasn't received any winks, even though I put that you've been to Phoenix.
Oh, I jumped out of a helicopter yesterday into the ocean and had a shark fight.
Yeah, listen, I was mentioning before, people who daydream too much, they're not content.
No, it was real. I really did.
Really? Then I'll put down Adrenaline Junkie. What kind of a shark? Was it like a...
Hey, Todd. I can't really talk right now. I'm on my way to a volcano.
What the...
At the end of the Thurber story, Walter is fantasizing that he is going to get executed while he's waiting outside of a drugstore for his wife. He considers himself Walter the Undefeated because he knows he will live another day to stand tall and he has to embrace who he is in the face of ridicule. There is a disorder that's called maladaptive daydreaming that the sufferer daydreams for more than 4 hours a day to the point where they have elaborate storylines and they have physical reactions to the stories that they're in because they're so absorbed in the daydream. I think that Thurber's version of Walter may be suffering from this because he wants to escape at every opportunity. Stiller, on the other hand, has Walter just daydreaming about better outcomes for himself. Since Thurber's story is only a peek into an afternoon of Walter's life, this leaves his world as an open story, allowing it to be filled with a backstory and giving Walter a new ending. In the film, Walter has to abandon his dream of traveling the world with his dad because his dad dies. He has to grow up quickly to help his family. I think most of us at one point or another have had or will have a moment of realization that we are no longer children anymore. It could be something small like getting your own credit card or something as unfortunate as having a parent die at 17 like Walter.
You know, when your daddy died and then you went to work in that pizza place, the one that was named after a father, had that father kind of name.
Papa John's, yeah, delivery.
And I thought perhaps that it was really sad for you working in a restaurant named after a father after your father just died.
I never even thought about that. Probably because I didn't call Dad Papa.
You had a weird style.
That wasn't my style, that was a uniform. KFC.
My worker bee.
A noteworthy observation about Walter is that he doesn't really daydream about traveling, but instead lives vicariously through Sean's lens. He becomes Sean's partner and understands Sean's vision without ever meeting him.
They can't let you go. You were Sean's partner. He told me that you were the person who worked the hardest to make sure his work was realized the way he wished. He finished his work.
The film makes it seem like Walter stops daydreaming once he has his adventurous life, but I actually think he continues to daydream. The only difference now is that he isn't consumed by it. I don't think that Walter gave up his dream either. I think he just put it on hold until he had a reason to actually live it. Walter is a practical person who seems to have taken calculated risks throughout his adult life, but when his life's work is come into question, he throws caution to the wind and goes to Greenland, where he sees exactly 8 people.
I'm just blown away I located your thumb.
There's like 8 people in Greenland. I mean, it's a good place to find a thumb.
Yeah.
Don't cheat on your lady, man. You live in a country that only has 8 people in it.
The deeper that Walter goes into his adventure, the more he finds himself. Even after he is fired and has no obligation to retrieve the negative, Walter continues his journey in a sort of pilgrimage. Thurber paints Walter as somewhat jealous of Dr. Crenshaw, the doctor that his wife wants him to see. He daydreams that he's a surgeon and has a competitive rivalry with Dr. Renshaw in the operating room. Stiller's version doesn't have Walter being jealous of Sean, but just wants to know where the film is.
When are you gonna take it?
Sometimes I don't. If I like a moment, I mean me, personally, I don't like to have the distraction of the camera. I just want to stay in it.
Stay in it?
Yeah, right there. Right here.
Sean just is. He knows who he is, what he wants, and lives his life in the moment. I really like the philosophical aspect of the film that shows that we are our own limiting factor.
Yeah, is your phone done
Oh,
buffering with that ship's name?
Yes, look, here it is. Nuke, Greenland.
It's...
Yeah. Come on, that's a good lead. You should follow that up.
Yeah, follow it up in Greenland.
Yeah, why not? Go, crack the case. Listen to your wallet.
In a way, Walter gets permission to go to Greenland from Cheryl. She believes that he can do it, which allows for him to know that it is possible.
Hey, buddy.
I think Walter's character is relatable because I think we've all been in a position where we haven't been allowed to be ourselves or do what we want because of arbitrary factors. In the film, there are quite a few double meanings that are explored comically. Take Walter's job. Walter tells Ted that he is a negative asset manager, which is a title that doesn't exist. Typically, an asset manager is someone who manages someone's assets and finance. So if he's a negative asset manager, that would mean he's pretty bad at managing assets since you never want to be in the negative, which would also explain Ted's face.
Okay. What do you do?
I'm a negative asset manager.
Worth the wait.
You were a good boss, Walter.
Thanks, man.
His title doesn't really matter or explain what he does. He is well respected by his coworkers, and though Ted doesn't find value in what he does, that doesn't faze him because he's being true to himself. Another example of double meaning is how Sean phrases his telegram. There is a reason why Sean says that negative 25 is the quintessence of life.
Sean O'Connell, I expect full consideration of negative 25 for cover. My most grand, the quintessence of life. What is that? What is that?
Like the fullest and most rich.
Okay, so our cover will probably be the most famous ever because it really will have the big quintessence of all time. Very full and so rich.
The way that the statement is made makes you think that Sean is answering the ultimate question. What is the meaning of life?
I think this works. Heart of America, different generations, it says it all.
At the end of the film, you see a cover of the magazine on the screen stating the end of life, alluding to life is over when the negative can't be found.
Here's a picture Sean wanted, 25. You have 2 days to print for cover. Here's your quintessence. Hey, do you know our motto?
Life. I'm loving it.
That's McDonald's.
Walter doesn't even look at the negative once he finds it because he finds the meaning of life for himself. The motto for Life magazine is, making a brave man to see the world, things dangerous to come to see behind walls, to draw closer, to find each other, and to feel. That is the purpose of life, which is sprinkled throughout the film. By the end of the film, Walter embodies the motto of life and truly becomes the quintessence of Life magazine, but that's just my theory. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below what was your favorite, the short story or the movie, and also what were your favorite parts. This one's mine.
Okay. This one goes out to Walter Mitty. He knows why. Ground control to Major Tom. Ground control to Major Tom. Take your protein pills and put your helmet on.
If you guys are interested in reading The Secret Life of Walter Mitty for free, check out the link in the description below. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.